everybody, I'm James Gunn. I'm the co-CEO of DC Studios.
Guardians
so
of the
as many
Galaxy.
of you know, DC has been disconnected in film and television for a long time. And it's one of
That's for sure.
our jobs, mine and Peter's, is to come in and make sure the DCU is connected in film, television, gaming, and animation. That the characters are consistent, played by the same actors, and it works within one story. And if something is outside of that, like Matt Reeves' Batman or Todd Phillips' Joker or Teen Titans Go, that it is clearly labeled as DC Elseworlds, outside of the mainstream DCU continuity. Now, Peter and I have gotten pretty lucky in terms of the 4 projects that are coming out over the next year. First, we have Shazam! Fury of the Gods. Shazam has always been off kind of in his own part of the DCU, so he connects very well. That moves directly into The Flash, a fantastic movie that I really love, that resets the entire DC universe. And then to move into Blue Beetle, a fantastic film about a kid who's a marvelous part of the DCU, and then into Aquaman 2, which leads directly into our next few projects, which I'm going to tell you about now. So, Peter and I, along with a group of very talented writers, have started to map out an 8 to 10 year plan of what DC Studios will be in film, television, and gaming. This first chapter is called Gods and Monsters. Now, this, what I'm about to tell you, is a part of the first chapter. It's not the entire first chapter. The first project is Creature Commandos. Creature Commandos is an animated series. I've written all the episodes. Something we're going to do that's a little bit different at DC is we're going to have characters move into animation, out of animation, usually having the same actor play their voice as who plays them in live action. The next project up is Waller. This is a story of Amanda Waller, played by Viola Davis. Viola Davis is going to team up with members of Team Peacemaker, and this is a story that's been created by Crystal Henry, who did Watchmen, and Jeremy Carver, who created the Doom Patrol. It is a fantastic story that's out of this world, and I can't wait for people to see it. Okay, next up is the big one, the true beginning of the DCU. This is called Superman Legacy. This is being written by me. I'm in the middle of it. I'm having a great time doing it. And Superman will be released into theaters July 11th, 2025. Okay, the next thing is a big premiere HBO television series called Lanterns. This is a story of a couple of Green Lanterns, John Stewart and Hal Jordan, and we have a few other Lanterns peppered in there, but this is really a terrestrial-based TV show, which is almost like True Detective with a couple of Green Lanterns who are space cops watching over Precinct Earth. In it, they discover a terrifying mystery that ties into our larger story of the DCU. Next is a big movie called The Authority. The Authority is a passion project of mine. It's based on the marvelous Wildstorm characters. We are now bringing into the DCU and will interact with all of our primary DCU characters. The Authority are a group of superheroes who think the world is broken and they want to fix it by any means necessary. I think it's a very different look at superheroes. We're doing a television series called Paradise Lost. Paradise Lost is the story of Paradise Island, usually known as Themyscira, which is the birthplace of Wonder Woman. It's almost like Game of Thrones with Westeros, but with all of the inhabitants of Paradise Island. The introduction of the DCU's Batman is The Brave and the Bold. The Brave and the Bold is the story of Batman and his actual son, Damian Wayne. This is based on Grant Morrison's great comic book run. Damian Wayne is my favorite Robin. He's a little assassin who Batman tries to get in line. And so this is the story of the two of them and the beginning of sort of the Bat family in the DCU. Next up is a TV series called Booster Gold. Booster Gold is one of comics' really popular cult heroes. He is a fascinating guy. He's a loser from the future who uses future technology to come back to present day and become a superhero so that people will love him. It is basically the superhero story of imposter syndrome on an HBO Max series. One of my favorite comic book series from last year was Tom King's run on Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. And so we're going to turn that into a big science fiction epic film. Now, Superman is a guy who was sent to Earth and raised by loving parents, whereas Supergirl in this story, she is a character who was raised on a chunk of Krypton. She watched everybody around her perish in some terrible way, so she's a much more jaded character. And that brings me to Swamp Thing, the last thing we're going to talk about. A
I'm so
very
shocked they're doing a
dark
Swamp
horror
Thing
story,
movie.
the origins of
That's
the
gonna be
monster who
creepy.
is Swamp Thing.
I remember
And
some of the
although it's totally
original
outside
movie.
of the rest of the
Oh, do you?
DCU, it will still feed into the rest of the stories. Anyway, those are the stories that I can tell you about right now. I've loved the DC characters since I was a child. They're incredibly important to me. I knew that this was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to do something very different. One of the things that's very important for me in all of these movies and TV series is that the director's vision and the vision of the writers and all of the creators is unique and something special. Storytelling is always king. That's all that matters to us. And I want to be true to those stories. I want to be true to you guys and really give you something different than you've ever seen before. Anyway, thank you, everybody. I appreciate you watching. I hope this was exciting for you because it's really exciting for me. And I can't wait to start to dive into these stories with you guys on this grand adventure. Thank you so much.
So what do you think?
It's nice that we got a timeline and the stories, they look cool.
So I'm very confused, honestly, because all right, so they said that basically that Flash is going to reset the timeline. So is that going to lead into this new universe? And who is going to stay and who's leaving? Because the Shazam stuff, it kind of sounds like they're wanting to keep Shazam, maybe, possibly. You've also got, I don't know what's happening with Flash or Ezra Miller. I don't know what's going to happen there. I really like the movies that they're picking. They're weird. There's some weird ones in there. Like going with Supergirl as one of your first ones is really interesting. It really puts a juxtaposition between her and Superman very early. And there's so many characters that they're not focusing on. Like they're not bringing in Wonder Woman early on, which is a very interesting story, even though you're going to focus on Themyscira and that whole thing. Like, what was the project that you were like, I think I kind of like that idea?
The Paradise Lost.
How come?
No, I like the Wonder Woman story and getting to go back to that island. That'd be cool.
Especially the Game of Thrones of it
Yes.
all. You think someone might die?
Most likely.
Most likely. And then I love that they're doing a new Superman movie. I cannot wait for that one. The fact it's called Superman Legacy is really interesting. I'm curious if they're still planning to go with a younger Superman. I bet they have to. I think they're gonna have to go for a younger Superman.
So probably no Henry Cavill.
Oh, Henry Cavill's gone. They've already said that Henry Cavill's gone. But the one that I'm really curious on is Batman. Calling it The Brave and the Bold, which is such a cool name and storyline from the comics. Bringing in Damian. Damian is Bruce Wayne's actual son.
I remember you talking about him some.
When he was first introduced, he might have been one of the most hated Robins. But basically, he is a very interesting character who is the son of Talia al Ghul.
Oh yeah.
Basically, Talia, I don't know what to say.
It wasn't consented.
It wasn't fully consented, to say the least. Talia kind of slept with Bruce Wayne while he was asleep. Kind of, sort of. I don't know. I don't remember all of it. You can let us know in the comments how wrong I am on that, but I know it wasn't fully consensual. And then Damian just shows up, and Damian's an assassin. He's trained by Ra's al Ghul and Talia. So he's being sent to Bruce Wayne to finish his training. Even though he's an assassin, he's not afraid to kill anybody. Damian is ruthless, but such an interesting character. But the fact that they're starting with that Damian means with that Robin tells me that this is a little bit of an older Batman. My guess is late 30s, early 40s, maybe, possibly. Since you're going with a younger Batman with Robert Pattinson, they're going with probably a middle-aged character. So I'm guessing he probably has already had the other Robins. So Dick Grayson is probably out there as Nightwing. So hopefully we get a Nightwing movie, please. Hopefully, maybe. But yeah, like what? Anything else you want to talk about, or what do you think?
I'll have to look into some of those because I'm not familiar with all of them. I mean, yeah, I'm looking forward to the movies coming.
Yeah, I like the fact that it feels like there's a plan. That's
Yeah.
a plus. Plans. Star Wars, plan. Do it, please. But everyone, if you would, hit that like button. Comment below what you thought and hit the subscribe. We'll see you later.
Bye.